Hello guys, today we're going to be going over dog body language, and this is at the end, so let me go back to the front page. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to start off showing this little video that I like that I found on YouTube. You may be wondering why we're doing dog body language. This is really important as you're training your dog to be able to tell if they're comfortable or not. If your dog's showing a lot of stress or uneasiness while you're doing these trains, it's a good idea to restart or take a break. You never want to have your dog associate those like a sit or a down with something bad, because then they're not going to want to do it as much. That's why we use a lot of treats when we're training dogs, so they associated with something positive. So it's also important to be looking at their body language as you're doing this. And if they're struggling, you can go back a step. If they're doing well, their body language is good, you go a step forward. So we're going to start with just a little video to watch, and let me Okay, so actually I should not have done that. Alright, so yes, that's just a little video going over some of the things. We'll go over each individual part of the dog, but the main thing is when you're looking at body language, you want to look at them as a whole, like everything together. So here's just a little graph I saw online that I liked. Calming signals is what the dog may do to help calm them down. Stress signals are just saying, hey, I'm stressed. Stress release is also something to help kind of shake, it's like the whole shake it off, you know, like shake off the stress. That's kind of what that is. And then happy signals, pretty much we're all aware of. The belly rubs right there, they'll keep an eye on that because we're going to talk about that a little later on. But some calming signals is paw lift, the yawn, nose lick, they turn away, they look away. Stress signals, they're scared, sweaty paws, suspicious. Stress relief is shake off, ground sniff, scratch. Happy signals are relax, let's play, belly rubs. So here, this first dog right here where it says interested, alert eyes, you always want to look at everything together. So if his ears are pricked forward and his eyes are big like that, but his tail is not all the way up, that would make me think that he's more alert versus being aggressive. And we'll go over the tail here in a second. Then you have more different things on here, but we're going to go back to here. So, stress signals. They're basically the dog trying to tell you, give me space, I'm uncomfortable, I'm nervous. Again, some of these things on their own might not necessarily mean that, but when you combine them with more than one thing, that's when you're definitely got to pay attention to things. So yawning. A lot of people think dog yawning means they're tired. A lot more than likely, they are stressed. Pay attention to your dog if you take them to the vet or anywhere that they get stressed out. You'll notice they start yawning. They also start doing lip licking. It kind of, I say it's like they're licking a snow cone, or they're like a lizard and their tongue just sticks out. It's different than when like they're licking their mouth, like if they're like if you have a treat, or if they're licking their nose when they're hungry. It's a little different, and there's a picture that I could show you. Penis crowning, that's when they get like the red rocket. Again, that on its own might not mean anything, but when you have a few other things, that's a sign of stress. Nose rubbing, that's where you'll see some dogs like at the shelter, they rub their nose raw on blankets and stuff. It's because it's a stress thing. Avoidance is they're avoiding the situation, avoiding the person, avoiding the dog, whatever it is that's stressing them out, they're just trying to get away from it. Excess widening vocalization. Dilated pupils, that's when the black of their eyes gets really big. Furrowed brow, tight mouth, whale eye. In that video it showed it. It's and where there's another picture we'll go over, but it's where you see a huge part of the whites of the eye. Frequent urination marking, again, that's on there. Its own might not be anything, but combined with other things, it can be a stress thing. Freezing, that's a big one, when they get really still. Pacing, tuck tail, shedding, trembling, and any combo of the above. Shedding, of course, our dogs shed all the time, but again, like if you take them to the vet, you might notice they start yawning, they start doing lip licking, and if you're trying to pet them and calm them down, you notice a ton of hairs coming off. That's where the shedding is coming from on here. So, one thing to be able to read on them is their tail. So, a tucked under tail, most of us know this. They're scared, they're being submissive, fearful. That's where it's literally tucked all the way under their body. They're just trying to put it down as low as possible. A low and still tail. I would say in this picture, this is probably more of a low to medium carriage. It's important to look at the base of the tail to get an idea. And some dogs' tails naturally go high. Huskies, Akitas. Some dogs just tails do weird things like pugs. So you kind of have to get, in those cases, you can kind of read it, but that's when you want to start looking at the other parts of the body to get a good read. A low and still is calm and relaxed. And low, it still is like a very just kind of a natural place for the tail to go. It's not, I would say it's like at a 45-degree angle from what this tail is in this picture. Low to medium carriage, just gently waving, that's very relaxed. Low to medium, fast wag, could be submissive or appeasing, or generally it's they're happy or just friendly. And then when it's really high, like even higher than this, and it's very still or vibrating, it can be tension, it could be aggression, it could be excitement. If it's just that and everything else looks okay on the body, then it could be excitement. But when you have that combined with a few other things that we're going over, then that could be like a warning sign, like do not mess with that dog. So the ears. Pin back, that's submissive, appeasing, or fearful. Back and relaxed is good, calm. That's kind of like how the dog on the right is. Forward and relaxed is aware, friendly. That's somewhat kind of how the middle dog is. And then super pricked forward, alert, excitement, arousal, assertive, could be play, arousal, or aggression. And if you have that pricked forward ears along with that high tail, that could be aggression. If you have the high tail with the ears back, there could be fearful, but they were very uncomfortable. So pay attention to those things. Okay, the eyes are a big thing too. So this dog on the right in this picture, this is a whale eye. This is where you see a lot of the whites in their eye, and their eyes are like very far over. So if the dog's avoiding eye contact, that's more than likely they're fearful, or they're trying to submit to you. They're not comfortable, so let them be. Squinting or eyes closed. If you ever see pictures of people post when dogs are playing, their eyes will be, or their mouths are all hanging open and drooping, and sometimes their eyes are squinting. It's just a very happy, like, I'm just having a great day. Like when we smile, our eyes kind of get small too as well. Soft, direct eye contact, that's very natural. If your dog's just hanging out, eating a bone, kind of just like look at their eyes to see, that gives you like a kind of a neutral ground of what your dog's eyes naturally look like. Eyes wide open, confident, assertive, or then a hard stare. That could be alert, excitement, arousal, or could be aggression. Again, when you combine that with a few other things, that's when you can get a good read. And by hard stare, I mean like they are just staring you down. Let's say you're in a bar and there's a guy hitting on you, and he will not, or he's at the end of the bar and he wants to buy you a drink, and he just keeps following you with his eyes everywhere you go, and you can just not break that. That is what I mean by a hard stare. Like they are just locked on you. The mouth, lips pulled back. This is what you could call, like, it's like when they show their teeth. Not a growl, but if you Google this, you can see dogs that are doing this. It's cute, but it's not necessarily the best thing. It's where they're like showing their teeth, like a smile, and they just show those front, top, and bottom lip teeth. But it could be a submissive thing, could be fearful, different things like that. Licking lips, we were talking about that earlier, and yawning, stressed, fearful, or tired. This dog right here is doing the lip licking. This is what I'm talking about. See, it's not touching his nose. It's just like a very straightforward kind of lick. Like, pretend there's a snow cone out there, and that's what he's doing. Lips relaxed, calm, relaxed, friendly, and the lips pucker forward, maybe lifted. That's kind of more like a growl, like where they're snarling and showing all their teeth to try and, like, threaten you. Hair. So this is piloerection. That's like the raised hackles you see on dogs. That alone, it could just mean they're excited. Many times when we have dogs meet each other, their hair will go up like that, and they'll have a few different things, and they might be a little tense. It does not mean that they're necessarily going to go immediately and go and fight or anything like that. They're just very alert to what's going on. This dog right here, you see his hackles are up, his ears are pricked forward, and his tail is high. So he's a little uncomfortable. Doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to snap, but like if he's not moving and you went up to go touch him, I wouldn't touch him because he's trying to give you some body language to say to leave me alone. So now we're going to look at all this together, and I'm not going to say anything at first just so you guys get an opportunity to guess. So see what you think at first, and then we're going to point out a few things. So look at the mouth. He's doing some of that lip licking. Look at his eyes. He's not looking at the cameraman. His ears are pinned back. His body's very coward, and his tail is tucked. So this dog is fearful. He is not comfortable. Leave him alone until he feels better. So if your dog's looking like this when you're training, then you need to stop and take a few steps back because your dog is terrified. Right here, what do you think you see? If you saw this dog, would you go up and try and pet them? I would hope not, because this dog is trying to tell you, get away from me. He's trying to threaten you. So this dog up top, you see he's staring right at that photographer. He's showing all his teeth. His ears are pricked forward, and his tail is high. The bottom dog, too. He probably barking, doing some vocalization. His ears look forward. His tail, it's hard to tell because of the view, but it's probably high, and he's just not comfortable. So if you see a dog doing this, if they're about to meet another dog, don't let them. If your dog's acting like this, don't try and touch them. Try and calm them down, figure out what's wrong. Okay, what do you see here? I want you to pay attention to his eyes, his ears, his mouth. His mouth is very open and relaxed. His tongue is just kind of hanging out. His ears are just kind of flopping and natural. His tail looks like it might be high, but I would say at the bottom of it is probably pretty neutral and just hanging out. So he's happy. He's just having a good time trotting along. This is what we want to see when we're training our dogs. Okay, now here, what do we see? Let's look at his mouth. He's doing the lip licking. His head is cowered down. His ears are pinned back. His whole body is going smaller. This dog's uncomfortable and he's fearful. More than likely, the reason why is because this person reaching over his head to pet. This is something that I didn't learn this for probably until like 5 years ago, but you should not reach over a dog's head to pet them. You should actually go under the chin. Going over their head is actually a very dominant thing, and it can scare some dogs. Now, if you try this on your dog might not even care because he trusts you. But if you do this on a new dog, you'll notice that they'll do some interesting body language where they're just not that comfortable with it. So just a little tip, don't pet over the head, pet under. And if your dog's meeting a new person, ask them to pet under the chin too. Okay, what do you see? I want you to look at his eyes. That's a whale eye. Look at his ears. They're pinned back. He is uncomfortable, and he's averting he is not looking at that baby. He's trying to look away. He's trying to avoid the situation. He is not comfortable. He does not like this. You see pictures like this all the time with babies, and there's like, oh, it's so cute, but really you see the dog's body language, and they're trying to tell you, hey, I'm not comfortable, but because they're not growling or barking or anything, a lot of people don't know that, just because they don't know how to read that. It doesn't mean that this dog will do anything. He might not snap at that baby, but it doesn't mean he's not uncomfortable. Some dogs will, and that's when they end up in the shelter, which sucks, because it could have been avoided if you were able to read the body language. Just not everyone knows how to do it. Okay, this is what I would talk about before. So yes, sometimes belly rubs are a good thing, but this is what I was going back on, when you got to look at everything together. So, on the dog on the right, what do you notice about his ears? His ears are pinned back. He's doing the lip licking. That's not good. He is not comfortable. Many times the dogs go on their back to submit to you, and that's kind of like the last thing of saying, hey, please leave me alone. Do not come near me. So this dog on the right, he's not doing this because he wants belly rubs. He's trying to tell you, please leave me alone. So if you went to go rub his belly, he might actually end up snapping at you because he feels like he doesn't have any other option to get you away. The dog on the left, look at his ears. They're pulled back, being very submissive. This could be the odor, and that's why he's smitten by putting on his back. But belly rubs aren't always necessarily inviting. So that's just something I want to point out. If your dog, watch the whole body language. If their tail is wagging in a very neutral state, their ears look relaxed, and they have a big happy smile, they roll their back, then yes, the dog wants belly rubs. But if they're doing the lip licking, ears are back, cowering down beforehand, and then go on their back, that's not what that dog wants. So if your dog's doing any of these things and someone comes up, just tell them, please don't rub my belly. So that's all I have. That's just a very basic body language stuff. There's a lot of good stuff online. You can even do quizzes to test yourself to see how you're doing. It's a lot of fun. But that is all I have for today. So let me go. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. See you later.